Welcome back to Beyond the Door, the podcast where we dive into the most bizarre, the most chilling, and the most unbelievable stories you've ever heard. I'm Jake.
And I'm Marcus. And Jake, I've got to say, the story you've brought us today, it's a whole new level of unsettling.
You're not wrong, Marcus. This is the account of a young woman we'll call Dolly and a family secret so dark it literally had a ticking clock counting down under her skin.
A clock under her skin? Okay, you've got my attention. What does that even mean?
Well, that's where our story truly begins. Imagine you've been raised by the woman you know as your mother, Shelby. She's been good to you, always looked out for you. But then she passes away, and a letter surfaces. A letter that turns your entire world upside down.
Dolly, if you're reading this, then I'm dead. That sounds dramatic, like a line from a bad movie, but it's still true. And truth is the point of this letter, mostly, because there is a clock hidden beneath your skin.
Whoa, right out of the gate with that bombshell. Exactly. Shelby explains that this clock has been there most of Dolly's life, winding down. And if it stops, Dolly would be utterly lost in a way that would make death seem like an endless blessing.
So it's not just a ticking clock, it's a ticking time bomb. What was it counting down to? And more importantly, how do you stop it?
Shelby gets to that. She tells Dolly there's only one way to erase this clock. You must kill your parents.
Her parents? The ones who just got in touch with her?
The very same. You see, Dolly's biological parents, who we'll call John and Mary, were just released from a long probation. They couldn't contact her until she turned 18. And now, out of the blue, they've reached out. So Dolly, with this horrifying letter burning a hole in her mind, decides to meet them. She arrives at their house, and there's John, warm, welcoming, with a bright smile.
Classic setup, right? The seemingly normal, doting parents?
At first, it's all awkward hugs and polite conversation. They invite her in, offer her drinks, dinner. Dolly's trying to navigate this new surreal situation. She admits she has somewhere else to be, not wanting to impose.
Which, of course, they brush off. You can't impose, honey. We're your parents.
Right. But then Mary comes in, and she's immediately intense, crying, saying how much they've missed her. And then the true colors start to show.
We've been waiting and hoping since you turned 18. The state wouldn't let us contact you until you were an adult, giving you to that woman for all your formative years.
Blaming Shelby already. Classic. John tries to interject, tries to calm Mary down, saying Shelby was Dolly's family. But Mary just shakes her head violently. And this is where it gets really chilling.
Bigotry is what it was. Ignorance. They claimed we were going to kill you. That the ritual was some kind of satanic bullshit. We weren't going to harm a hair on your precious head. You believe that, don't you?
The ritual? So it wasn't just a metaphor. What ritual? Dolly's uncomfortable, but she plays it cool. She tells them, would I be here now if I didn't want to at least give you a chance? And John smiles, praises her for being open-minded. But then he asks about Shelby and how she is. Actually, she's dead, died last month.
Oof, straight to the point.
Mary, despite her earlier vitriol, offers a perfunctory apology for Dolly's loss. But then she squints at Dolly and asks, was she a good mother to you? Did she raise you well?
Still probing, still trying to get a read on Dolly's loyalty.
Exactly. Dolly affirms that Shelby was a good mother. They pivot to polite conversation again, asking about Dolly's university studies. John even chuckles about their own youth. But then Mary zeroes in again.
You're thinking about it, aren't you? She's thinking about what we did to her. She thinks we're monsters.
She's pushing, trying to bait her. Dolly wisely denies it, but admits she wants to know more. And then she asks the question that really cuts to the chase. Are you still in that cult?
Bingo! Now we're getting somewhere.
John, clearly irritated with Mary, answers evasively, calling it a group they haven't been a part of since Dolly was taken. But Mary, she makes a shocking admission.
And yes, for taking your eye teeth.
Her eye teeth? Okay, this is getting disturbing.
So that's what the ritual was about?
Turns out Dolly already knew. Shelby had told her. Not that she remembered it herself, but Shelby had filled in some blanks. She told Dolly they were in a cult, that Shelby herself had been part of it but changed her mind during the ritual after hearing Dolly scream. She called the police, got custody, and adopted Dolly.
So Shelby was the hero, stopping the ritual, saving Dolly.
That's what Dolly believed. But John's lamplight stare is on her now. He wants to know everything Shelby told her. Dolly, remembering Shelby's advice to never directly lie, only to be vague or omit, recounts what she knows.
And what does John do?
He nods, smiles, and says, "I feel like what you said is the truth. I'd have known if you were lying, and that would have really disappointed us."
Chilling. They have some way of knowing if she lies.
Absolutely. The tension ratchets up even further when Mary cuts in with another question. What did they do about your teeth? Your eye teeth? They aren't missing, but they are a bit darker than the rest.
They know. They know something's up with her teeth.
Dolly explains she has a partial and is getting implants this summer. Mary beams, but John's face remains stony. He has one more question. Did she tell you to come here?
This is the moment of truth, isn't it? This is where Dolly has to play it perfectly.
It is, because Shelby's letter, the one Dolly is still processing, holds the key. Shelby admitted she was to blame for what happened to Dolly. She had instructed John and Mary on how to perform the ritual. She was even rewarded for it, gaining knowledge from a being from another dimension called Incarnata.
Incarnata? So this isn't just a cult. This is cosmic horror.
Essentially, this entity, not quite a demon but a deal maker and a trickster, makes bargains. Shelby explains that for parents, their child is usually the thing of value traded. But because John and Mary had little attachment to Dolly, Shelby devised a second method to make Dolly valuable, through immense suffering.
So Dolly was meant to suffer her whole life to build up power for this entity?
Precisely. Her 2 eye teeth were the token sacrifice to set the contract. Shelby, however, had a change of heart. After gaining her knowledge, she saw how pointless and terrible it would be for Dolly to suffer. So she took Dolly in, raising her out of guilt, then out of love, to keep her safe from her biological parents.
A twisted redemption arc for Shelby.
Indeed. And now, in the letter, Shelby gives Dolly her final crucial instructions. Not commands, but suggestions. First, never directly lie to them. They'll know. Second, Shelby didn't tell Dolly what to do or send her. She only provided information. No, she didn't tell me to do anything, and now she's dead.
And that works?
John's face relaxes. He smiles. Good. I want this to be your decision. He stands up, gestures for Dolly to follow. Would it be okay if I showed you something?
Oh no, this feels like the trap.
It is. He leads her down a long hallway toward a door that seems to have just appeared. He grins, saying it's Dolly's room, that he made it for her, dreaming of having her with them. Dolly sees his arm rising, casually, as if to embrace her. But she knows. She knows he's about to shove her into some magical vault. So Dolly does the only reasonable thing, the thing her real mother, Shelby, had suggested. She grabs his arm and she bites him.
Whoa, she bit him? With what?
This is where Shelby's macabre gift comes in. Along with the letter, Dolly received a package. Inside, a partial plate molded to her mouth, but instead of artificial eye teeth, it contained Shelby's own, recently removed eye teeth.
Shelby literally gave her teeth for this.
Yes. Imbued with traits that, if Dolly, and only Dolly, wore them and bit her parents, they would be immediately incapacitated and, crucially, in material breach of one of the pledges of the arrangement between us and the entity. With Shelby dead, puncturing both parents with her teeth would dissolve the contract. John collapses to the floor, shuddering and thrashing. Dolly spins to deal with Mary, but Mary is faster. She slams into Dolly, a long knife in her hand, her face twisted into a hateful mask.
"You stupid fucking little bitch! You come into my house and think you can get us? I'll skin you every day and have him grow it back for me."
Mary straddles Dolly, pinning her arms, the knife at her throat. But Mary, though strong, is petite. Dolly thrusts her hips and torso, throwing Mary forward, her open mouth rising to meet her. Dolly bites deeply into Mary's smooth left cheek. Mary falls, spasming next to her husband. Dolly gets up, stepping away. And then a hulking mass of shadows appears at the far end of the hall. "Do you have something to offer?"
"It's the entity! It's come for its payment!"
Dolly, terrified, asks if she's free. The entity pauses, considering the thrashing forms of her parents. "Ya-ah." There was to be no sharing of boons between them, and I smelled a gift of knowing on both of them now. The contract is void, and you are released. They are not.
So Dolly's free, but her parents, not so much.
Dolly runs, scraping against the wall to get past the entity. As she opens the front door, the screams of her parents, which had been growing louder, suddenly vanished.
A horrifying but necessary end to that chapter for Dolly.
Exactly. Shelby's final words in her letter are a testament to her change of heart and her hope for Dolly. This world is vast and terrifying beyond what most people realize, but it is more wonderful too. Be brave, find your joys and purpose, and remember that while we all have to save ourselves, it helps to have others that make us feel worth saving.
What an incredible, dark, and ultimately empowering story. Dolly went through something truly horrific, but she survived, thanks to the truth and the tools her true mother, Shelby, gave her.
It makes you wonder what other secrets are buried just beneath the surface, doesn't it? And what other strange deals might be out there. That's all for this episode of Beyond the Door. Thank you for tuning in to this chilling tale of survival and a very unusual family reunion.
If you enjoyed this story, be sure to subscribe, leave us a review, and share it with a friend who loves a good mystery.
We'll be back next time with another deep dive into the unexplained. Until then, stay curious and maybe check under your skin for any strange ticking.